Hey, what's up, everyone? Sorry, I'm late. Um, I'm still trying to set up my computer. I always run into this problem where I try to prep everything before the show, and then like I go to YouTube so I could keep up with the chat and everything, and it won't load. Like it will not load. It does this to me every single live stream. I guess it's because I'm running YouTube from two different sources, maybe, and I have good internet, but I got pretty good internet. But I think I was just doing too much at once. Hey, what's up, Speedy? How's it going, Ron? Comic Ron, how are you, sir? Um, Welcome to the stream, man. Hey, congrats on 100 subs, by the way, already. Killing it, dude. Already killing it. Like you said you would. You said you'd be the best in the business, and you're already on your way, dude. It's awesome. What's up? Back at it again. Yes. Hello, Christian. What's up? Batman and Joker in a separate universe. Um, I once again, Rohit, I don't follow you, and we are talking about Morbius today. It's a Venom vlog episode, so we won't be talking about DC stuff. Although, congratulations to Joker for 11 Oscar nominations. That's incredible. You're at 300 today. Holy crap! I lose track of you for one day, and you already triple in freaking subs. That's awesome, man. Congratulations! If you guys haven't subbed to Speedy's Comics, there, please do. Super awesome guy, and check out his channel, please. What's up? Trailer was awesome. It was Brandon for sure. Michael Keaton scene. Oh, gotcha. Michael Keaton. Gotcha. That's what you're talking about, Batman. What's up? What's up, everybody? Hello. Thanks for being here. Um, so yes, the Michael Keaton scene. Yeah, well, we're jumping the gun there. Let's get into spoilers. Let's say spoilers first. If you're watching this, chances are there's going to be spoilers. Rohit wasted no time in spoiling the end of the trailer, but hopefully by the time you're watching this, you have already seen the trailer. I have a trailer reaction that is rendering right now, so it'll probably take like an hour to render roughly, and I'll post it after this. So we're gonna do this live stream for like 30 to 45 minutes. We're gonna talk about the trailer a little bit, and we're gonna talk about this interview that IGN, because they got the exclusive for the trailer. They also had an exclusive interview with Jared Leto, so we're gonna talk a little bit about that, read some quotes from there, and I'll put a link later on. Like I don't have the links now. But I'll add links later on to the comment section down below, or the description box. I'll put some links there. And then we'll also go to the IMDb page and check out some of the people working on this Morbius movie. Good morning, good afternoon. What's up, Venom Vault? It is morning here, 10 a.m. And I leave for work in like 3 hours. So I have a pretty good, solid morning. So after this, I'm going to post my trailer reaction to Morbius because I already recorded it. It'll post around 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. or 12 p.m. today, so somewhere in that hour. And then I got to finish my Superman episode. I got to finish editing that. I'm about halfway done, and I don't think I'll be able to upload it to Patreon today or now, but I will tonight when I get home because it'll probably be rendering while I'm at work. You love the trailer? Yeah, the trailer was good, man. It was a solid trailer. The cameo, possibly, yes, right, Rohit. We're gonna get there. Like, slow down. Like you're. I don't know how young you are, but like take a breath. We're gonna get to that point of the trailer. Don't worry. But the trailer was good. Yeah. The setup is great. What's up, Swordsman? How's it going? Man, bad trailer. Jerry, always a dissenting opinion. Not from Jerry, but I always won at least. So sorry, didn't like the trailer, dude. We did, so we're probably gonna gush about it. MCU or not? I mean, I'm guessing yes, clearly MCU with that ending, but we'll get there. Morbius perfectly balance of making you liking it and being confused as F. Well, maybe I'll shed some light on it for you guys. If you have questions, feel free to ask. But my Patreon is just my name. I think it's just Siike Donnelly. Let's see if I can, yeah. I just started it, so I'm only one episode in. I do a Superman podcast on there. But I'm going to add more stuff probably like next month or the month after. But that's the link to my Patreon if anyone's interested. I just have one tier. It's $3. And for $3, you get 4 Superman podcasts a month. I'm a little late on my second one. I'm sorry. Already late. I hate that so much. But I had to get that Flash Venom episode up yesterday on the main channel, so that way our first episode back on Venom Vlog Season 4 wasn't a Morbius episode. Not that I have anything against Morbius. Obviously, we cover Morbius stuff on the Venom Vlog, but I didn't want our first episode back to be about Morbius. I wanted Flash Thompson, since he's the focus of our season, I wanted him to be the first. So I had to rush that video out, and it took me about a week to make it, and I think I read somewhere around 40 comic books starring Flash Thompson. in order to have the knowledge to make that video, because I had to like do some research on stuff. So it ate up a lot of my Superman podcast time. But I recorded a Superman podcast the other day, and I finally got to editing some of it last night, and I have about half of it done, and I'll have the other half done hopefully before I go to work, and then I'll post it later tonight. So I'm a little late on my second episode, but it's only because we had a rushed week, but I'll have plenty of time. I already recorded my third episode. I recorded that last night, so I'll have the third episode will be on time this Friday. And yeah, the trailer was good. I liked it. 19 plus. Okay, well, still, we'll get to we'll get to it. Wait, you're blowing your wad. Your money shot is too soon. We need to save those. Save that money shot. Trailer was interesting, not really a teaser, but the ending got me. Yeah, the ending was cool. Again, everybody jumping right to the ending. We'll get there. Cinematography looks good. Yeah, let's talk about Daniel Espinosa, who is the director of this movie. I have the IMDb page here pulled up, and while that's loading, I can check out some more comments. I've been saving your Flash video for tonight to watch. The intro looks great and beyond stoked for the season to start. Thank you so much, Venom Vault. I put a lot of work into that. I think it took me, because I did like an hour a day all week, just working on the first 4 minutes of that video, because I cut together all these images and I had to screen grab the images from the comics. And so it took me about 5 days just to make the first 4 hours, for first 4 minutes of that video. And then after that, I was like, all right, we're just going to do a discussion for the last half of the video. But that first half was rough. And then I had to do the 2 intros. So you saw one intro, but on my Morbius trailer reaction later, you're going to see the second intro with a new song as well. And yes, Venom and Morbius confirmed MCU. I'm guessing too. Yeah, it seems like it for sure. You want to see what? Oh, the trailer reaction, or what do you want to see? Sorry, Ron, I think I lost track of what we were talking about. Came in late. The purple means they are doing a 90s comic look. What's up, Logan Shook? How's it going? The purple. You mean the purple, like him, that scene where he's running and teleporting, kind of like the mist behind him? Because he also caught that ball and it was red. There was like red mist, but I'm wondering if that's like, if there's like actual magic happening there, or if it's his sense, because they show in the trailer, they show him shoot off an echo, like he sends off an echo thing, and he's able to like reverberate the sound back to him like a bat would. So I thought that was kind of cool. So I'm wondering what exactly all of his abilities are going to be. But Daniel Espinosa, he was actually the guy who directed Life, that movie that a lot of people were speculating could be a prequel to Venom, of course, and then it came out and it wasn't, obviously, but a lot of people were saying, oh, wouldn't this be cool if this was John Jameson and his team, and they come across the symbiote and they bring it back to Earth. And I think because they saw a missed opportunity there, they probably, and Sony already worked with Daniel on that movie and had a good time with him. I think they were like, all right, we'll just I guess we'll just figure it out. Like, we'll have him come in and work on some kind of shared universe movie with us because of that hype or that whatever. So yeah, that's cool. I'm glad he's able to tackle that and get on board and be a part of this universe, because the trailer it looks like it's shot really well. Clearly they got to work on some of the visual effects, but it's still early. The movie's coming out in like 5 or 6 months, so we got time to work on stuff. Morbius better take place in 2024 because, Snappocalypse. Snappocalypse. I wish Morbius and Venom would team up more. Their few team ups were very fun. I need to catch on YouTube later. Looking forward to Flash. Thanks, man. Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, and you're right. That Enemy Within storyline with Venom and Morbius is freaking awesome. When I reread it, I was like, wow, I really like this story. So hopefully we'll see that more. The Superman podcast, yeah, you can only hear it on Patreon, so it's exclusive there for a couple months. Eventually I'll bring them to YouTube, but I want to give like a 2 to 3 month exclusivity to the Patreon first, so that way people who want to hear it right up front can, but those in keeping in mind that there are people out there that can't donate $3 a month, which is totally fine. There are things I can't either. I found out the other day, my friend Joe after work, he's a Twitch streamer. I've been giving him $5 for 25 months in a row. And I'll be honest with you, I forgot. I went into a stream the other day and I left a comment, and then it says, hey, let people know that you've been subscribed here for 25 months. And I was like, I have? and so I was like, okay, let's let people know. So I think I just forgot. Like, I think that's, like with when I subscribe to like Disney Plus and all these other ones, I just forget that I have those because the bill's so small that I forget. But I know some people are like, hey, I can't donate three bucks or whatever. Or I'm, don't have access to a credit card to put on the file or whatever. So I will eventually release those episodes here on YouTube, but it's just going to be a couple months probably. The bat scene in Morbius trailer felt like Batman Begins. Oh yeah, when he cuts his hand, I'm wondering what that is because he has a machine there. So we can talk. So I don't want to go too much. I have Michael Morbius's first appearance here, or at least a reprint of it. This is Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 101, and I also have 102 somewhere as well. And I do a full discussion of them in my trailer reaction. So the reason why my trailer reactions taking an hour to render is because it's just 4 minutes of me reacting to the trailer and talking about the trailer, and then it's like 10 minutes of me discussing the first appearances of Michael Morbius and like what his first adventure was. And a lot of that is in the trailer. Like in his first adventure, he teamed up with another scientist to, come up with a cure for himself. Looks like they changed that around a little bit. They made his love interest, Martine Bancroft. It looks like they made her the scientist that's working with them and trying to like talk sense into him. But then there's also Lucius Crown, but he wasn't in the original comics. The original comics had a friend named Nikos that we talked about. So we talked about, and I'm not going to repeat too much of that because you're going to get that information later. But we do talk about the first appearance of Morbius after the trailer reaction. So that way, just to kind of make my video a little bit more unique than like most people are just going to react to it. It's going to be a 4 or 5 minute video. And I thought, yeah, let's do something else. Let's actually talk about the character because we haven't really done that too much. We haven't gone over that issue. So that was fun. So that'll go up here in a little bit, like in an hour. I think the final act will take place on a ship where he fights soldiers in Matt Smith's character, you mean, Lucius. So the boat thing is from the comic books. His first appearance, he was on a boat, and it was like Resident Evil 7 style. He was on a tanker ship with a crew, and they ended up like a sea, a fishing ship or something, and it crash lands in the Everglades after he kills everybody on it. And then he goes on land and interacts with Spider-Man and another character. So yeah, that's cool that they had that in there. Also, him winning the Nobel Peace Prize or the Nobel Prize for whatever he was winning the prize for. That's from the comic too. He was a Nobel Prize winner before he started his disease took over too much and he started to become sickly looking. So that's neat. I like that they added him having to walk on the sticks and everything, like to make him that weak from his disease and show how desperate he is. Because in the comics, you never really got a sense of how desperate he was. But as someone who's literally a doctor who wants to help people, but he's falling apart and he has patients that he can't save because he's falling apart. I think that adds to his desperation and might help the character. You get in the head of the character a little bit more. So I liked seeing that in the trailer. I was like, wow, that's a really nice touch, actually. I'm really impressed with how Sony's handled the look of Venom and Morbius. They looked ripped out of the comics. I mean, yeah, Venom looked amazing when we first saw him. I know everyone complained about the spider, but besides that, he looks spot on. Like he looks so good. And now we can find a way to add the spider in because now he's in this universe, I guess. Yes, thank you, Logan. Yeah, no, I'm thank you for being here, by the way. Sir, what do you feel about Sam Raimi's Spider-Man Easter egg? Is it a hint as possible? So I talked about that in the trailer reaction. Is it lazy? Sure. Or is it a product of them not knowing what they can do? Because remember, when they were filming this movie, the Sony Disney deal hadn't re-upped yet. So Sony, we clearly know Sony was planning, like I think all the way back to Venom #1, they had, I thought Tom Holland just visited the set, but it turns out maybe he visited and actually shot a little something and they couldn't release it because of Disney. So it seems like Sony's always been trying to wedge their way into the MCU. So I think the Spider-Man thing, we're like, hey, we're gonna have him walk down this alleyway. We'll have a Spider-Man poster over here. We're gonna use an image that we just have right now, and we'll put it in there because we don't have access to the MCU version of Spider-Man. So we're gonna use our just a old version. We're just gonna use an old image, and we'll just say it's like someone in this world had put a picture of Spider-Man, like their rendition of Spider-Man on, and it just happens to be the Raimi one. Of course it does come across lazy on one level, but on another level I think it was like a placeholder, like we'll put it there, and if we can't use Spider-Man, if we can't re-up with with Disney and stuff, we'll just have him walk down we'll film him walk down the alley with the poster and without the poster, and we'll just use whichever one we can. And I think that's what it is. I think they were just like, all right, it's a placeholder for now. So we'll see what the final movie holds, if they keep that in the movie or not. Obviously that saying murderer on it is a reference to what happens to Spider-Man in Far From Home, and then also the end of the trailer obviously connecting it more to the MCU. So Yeah, it's I would say it's certainly a connection. Obviously, I don't know about the Spider-Verse. We'll see, because Sony does have multiverses they're dealing with too. So I imagine that's going to play a part, but we'll have to wait and see how plays out. Same, it's great that they're trying to stay true to at least the character. Look at the characters, though Venom was pretty faithful all around to the '90s. I mean, that's true. It captured the wacky tone of the '90s comics that we've read, for sure. So for that reason, I would say, yeah, like, Venom, besides the look, at least the tone wise, felt pretty '90s-ish too. Or is Spidey so popular in the universe Sam made a movie? This Swordsman said. I mean, Spider-Man disappeared for 5 years in the MCU. So I was also thinking, well, what if no one really has any pictures of him? Because Peter Parker's the one who takes pictures of Spider-Man, but in the MCU universe, he's not really a major photographer. That's not his, like, they don't focus on that, and he's been gone for 5 years. So maybe just no one has an actual picture of Spider-Man, and they just hung up a poster, or made an artist rendition of what he might look like. Um, that's possible too. I don't know. So we'll see. Um, Either way, it does come across pretty lazy though. Soundwave, what's up? I personally look at the Spider-Man photos just simply street art and easy, Easter to PS4 and rainy. I mean, sure, you could look at it anyway. I think the purpose of it wasn't to get us all to talk about it, other than just go, oh, Spider-Man's in this universe. I think that was what they were hoping, but they didn't realize just how nitpicky everyone would be, and just how much people would try to translate that. It's like, it's just an image of Spider-Man to show that he exists in this world. That's it. Like, that's all Sony. You got to imagine these people are not super thinkers, like, they think about some stuff, but they don't think on that fanboy level. And so they're just like, oh, it's an image of Spider-Man, this will connect the universes, people will just see it as a connection. And they didn't know they were going to get, backlash from it, because people are going to go, you lazy idiots, that's a PS4 image. It's like, whatever, or PS whatever image, PS2 image. So it doesn't matter. I don't think that was the purpose of the image. And now that they're getting feedback from it, they might digitally change the image when the movie comes out. So, like I said, it could just be a placeholder. Um, the Easter eggs in Morbius are pretty bizarre. Yeah, I mean, but they're trying to connect it. They're trying to make it part of this world. It's an adjunct to LOL. Eddie's Mullet says, yeah, that's Amy Pascal's famous quote. It's adjunct world. Hey, what's up, Tavia? How's it going? Spidey's frame career will be over in 2021 or 2025 and 2026. Framed career. Oh, like him being, yeah, sure. Well, what I'm thinking is, any villain that they put away, like Vulture and all these guys, someone, like, either they make the Thunderbolts, or they do something, or they make the Sinister Six through some kind of rogue government agency or something, or some bad guy agency, maybe AIM or something. Maybe they're going to come along and go, you know what? Spider-Man's a menace. He's done all this stuff, and he's potentially going to be the next Tony Stark. We find out, because Peter Parker's a smart kid. We can't have that happen, so we're going to put you six together to go take him down. I mean, that could be an easy setup for that. And that would be cool, because I like that. I think Ultimate Comics did that, where they did the Sinister Six, but the sixth member was Spider-Man, and they blackmailed him into joining the team or something like that. That was kind of cool, but I would like to see a movie from the Sinister Six's perspective, where Spider-Man's the antagonist, and it's these six grown people figuring out they're going to kill some superpowered kid, and then maybe Vulture or someone turning good by the end to, like, help Spider-Man. That could be it too. As long as Kingpin shows up, or Hammer. Oh yeah. Would be cool if Hardy made a cameo, as it serves a purpose. I'm sure he might, but then again, I mean, they're already squeezing in the Vulture cameo, so, like, we'll see. We'll see how they start connecting the dots now. But now that they know they can, they will, for sure. You talking about Hammerhead, you mean, with Kingpin? Sinister Six movie is a possibility in the future. I have no doubt. Sony, ever since I worked at Sony in 2007 to 2008, ever since then, they've been trying to do Sinister Six. So I have no doubt in my mind that they're like, someone over there is going, yay! Like Amy Pascal and Avi Arad are like, finally, we can make the movie we've always wanted to make. I just hope they build to it, well. I hope the build up to it is done very well. I hope the public hating Spider-Man stays, because it's very much like the comics, where the Bugle always makes him look bad. Yeah, and there was versions in the comics where, like, J. Jonah Jameson put out a $1 million wanted bounty on Spider-Man. So if anyone took Spider-Man down, they would get $1 million, and Spider-Man had to go and create like 4 alternate identities just to stay out of the spotlight, but still help people. So I mean, there's so many stories they can tell now. Sinister Six called Ultimate Six, which was interesting story, and oh boy, the art not that great. Yeah, that was Trevor Hairsine, right? Um, yeah, his art's hit or miss. More Michael Keaton is always a good thing. Chameleon is going to get blamed for Mysterio's death in the long run unless they go the Skrulls route, but I really hope not. We'll see. I mean, I'm interested in what story they tell with Spider-Man framed, because that is the only Spider-Man story we haven't got on screen yet. All the other movies they've done, it's like replace the bad guys, and we've seen all these stories before. Him traveling to Europe, I was like, yeah, that's kind of new, but they didn't really do it that well. But him now being blamed for murder, I'm like, this could be cool. This could make for a good movie. So I hope they do a good job of that. I don't see this connect to the MCU at all, but we shall see. How do you not see it connect to the MCU? Literally, Michael Keaton as the Vulture is at the end of this trailer, so that's the biggest connection ever right there. I'd go for Venom hunting down framed Spider-Man only to clear things up at the end of the movie. I mean, that's true too. We're going to get Venom and Spidey interacting for sure. Personally, in my opinion, the movie looks meh at best, not great, but okay at best. I mean, it's one trailer, and I thought it was a solid trailer, and I know I'm not in the minority on that one. Um, but uh, but yeah, I mean, someone else who's here, Ilnova, agrees with you on the meh part. So yeah, good. We got two dissenting opinions this time. Normally we just have like one person, but no, it's cool. Swordsman says the way you get a Spidey versus Venom fight without making Venom a villain. Oh, there you go. Hi, Siike. I'm Venom Panda Gaming. I changed my name after last time. Okay, dude. Yeah, you brought that troll with you last time too. Um, Maybe it's Michael Keaton as Birdman. Ooh, maybe. So real quick, I'm gonna turn off the comments here for a second. I'm gonna go to IMDb. We're gonna list the cast real quick. We have Daniel Espinosa, obviously, is the director of the movie, and Matt Sazama was one of the screenplay writers of it. Uh, Adria Arjona, she plays Martine Bancroft. In the comics, Martine was she was like the love interest of Michael Morbius. She wasn't a scientist in the comics. In this movie, she looks like she might work for his science team. So that's kind of neat that they're doing that with her. Jared Harris is in it. I think he's going to play the mentor to Michael Morbius, as we saw in the trailer. He's like, I've known you since you were a kid, and you saw him got beat up and everything. J.K. Simmons is apparently going to be rumored to be J. Jonah Jameson in it. Jared Leto is Michael Morbius. Matt Smith is Lucius Crown. Tyrese Gibson plays a special agent named Simon Strode. And then there's Charlie Shotwell, who plays young Michael as well. And then Al Madrigal plays Agent Rodriguez. So those are kind of like some of the more main characters there. And then we have here an interview from Joshua Yole over at IGN, and he got an interview here with Jared Leto himself. So I'm not going to read the whole interview. I will put a link to this later on, but you can go to IGN right now. Actually, you know what? I can put a link in the comment section for now. And if you guys want to copy and paste it, you can check it out. And then as soon as it starts working, IGN's website just froze on me. Awesome. All right, so we'll get to that here in a second. But I don't know. Every time I try to come on here and do a live stream, my websites and everything just start shutting down on me. Like they just freeze. Let me go back to the comments so I can catch up there while the other page is loading. Maybe it's Michael Keaton as Michael Keaton. It may be. There he is. You know what? You're right. That Tavia, I could be wrong. Michael Keaton could just be playing Michael Keaton in the movie. Honestly, Sony had been trying to make the Sinister Six movie for years, and at this point, I just don't care anymore. I do, because I think it would be a good movie if it's done right. I just don't always have faith in Sony, so I'm certainly not like just here to kiss their butt or anything like that. Like I certainly share concerns, as most people do, but to have zero optimism, what's the point of being a fan of anything if you're going to have zero optimism about stuff? So for me, I'll always be optimistic. Unless I see something so like your opinion is a true opinion because you saw the trailer and it was meant to you. Like when I saw the Birds of Prey trailer the other day, I was just like, I am not going to go see that movie like at all. It looks so boring, and just all the wrong things that like I see in movies nowadays where people are like, oh, we're going to put some of this in. Like at most movies that come out now, even like some independent films, I can just see the conversations people have to get that movie made in my head. And I can see the suggestions coming from producers and directors and everything. and movies that just I don't have the respect I used to have for movies anymore. Right now, as a fan of comic books, which is that's my first love always, is comic books and Transformers, right? Transformers cartoons, but comic books, the fact that they're being made into movies, I'm only interested in movies because of comic book movies. Like really, I like seeing independent stuff. I'm about to watch The Lighthouse tomorrow. I'm going to watch The Lighthouse when I get home from work, and I'm super excited about that because I love Willem Dafoe and I love black and white movies. So I definitely have that side of me that likes to watch independent films. Um, but still, as a lifelong comic book fan, I just want to see these characters brought to life. And if they suck, they suck. Whatever. But even if I think they suck, other people are gonna love them. So that's why I'm like, I'd rather them be made than not be made at this point, because at least there'll be someone out there who likes it and appreciates it on some level. I like the trailer, and I'm glad it's changed a lot of people's opinion on this. Yeah, I saw a lot of people who were like hopeful, but like I don't know. And now I see them kind of going like, "Hey, this looks pretty good. We're in." And I'm like, "Ah, that's awesome! Like, that's good to hear." Because remember that first Venom trailer? It lost some people. Some people were like, "Eh," but that second one I think won everybody back. So I'm curious to see where the second trailer for these go. Ever since watching '90s cartoon, every time I see Morbius, I hear I need plasma. Yes, because he couldn't say blood. Um, and my computer is just freezing all kind of ways. Morbius as a whole is one of those characters I don't really care about, but I'm hoping the movie is good. We shall see. I mean, yeah, have I ever been a big Morbius fan? No. I mean, I remember him from the '90s cartoon and a couple of the comic books and the Midnight Suns. So that's it. But I've never been an overtly big Morbius fan. But yeah, and even you've seen some of my old videos, my old Venom vlogs. There have been times where Morbius news comes out and I'm like, this doesn't excite me. But seeing the trailer, pretty excited, and seeing how it connects to MCU already, pretty exciting. And now I can't wait to see how it's going to connect to Venom, because that's what I care about more. I care about more about Venom than I care about the MCU. So I want to see it connect more to Venom on the next trailer. Or maybe don't give that away. Just have a Tom Hardy cameo in it without giving it away. I do feel like Sony's trying to make solid films now and just trying to set up a universe like they did with the Amazing Spider-Man. Well, I don't think that's the case. I think they're still trying to make that shared universe. But I think after Venom, like Venom was kind of a fluke to them. I think they wanted it to be good and they were hoping it would be good. Come on now. How is this website still not working? There we go. Give me a minute to get back to the comments because it's my computer's running slow. But no, they're still going to try to make that, like make the shared universe. They're going to care more about that than anything else. Let's see. Just saw Lighthouse yesterday. Very weird, but I loved it. See, yeah, I'm looking forward to watching it. Yes, sir. Me too. Fan of comics first. Oh yeah, I know you are, Rohit. Chris, no, but your mother is. Venom Vault says, my friend also said that it appears they're going to be a pretty boy vampire for most of the movie. I mean, I'm sure, but that was the rumor for Venom. Like, oh, Venom's only in the movie for 5 minutes. And it's like, okay, well, he was in the movie for more than 5 minutes. He was in the movie for like 15 minutes. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure Jared Leto did all that working out and all that stuff. And, it's kind of like his image is, he covered himself up to play Joker. Maybe this time he's like, I want more of myself out there. As long as he just goes full vampire a couple scenes in the movie, then that's fine. Because I think they try to keep the budget a little low on this one. So it makes sense to me if he's mostly, just they give him contacts or they do something with his eyes for the most part. I'm sure that's going to be the case. But as long as he fully vamps out like on a couple scenes, or towards the end, the third act, maybe he slowly transforms and it's like The Fly in a way, like we talked about that with Venom, where it's like he slowly transforms and then at the end, boom, he's like a vampire all the time. That would be awesome. So thanks, Swordsman. I could be. I mean, I don't put it on my rice anymore, if that's what you mean. I can understand that. And in fact, I'm glad there are some people who are looking forward to this movie more than I did. I mean, that's the thing is like, yeah, like I saw Birds of Prey trailer and I was like, not for me. But I saw a lot of people excited about it. So I'm like, good. Then like that's how that's how these characters stay around for 80 years. The more selfish we are with them, they're going to die faster. Like if you're like, you can only make my version of Superman, or you can only make my version of Batman, or Spider-Man or whatever, then those characters are going to die really quickly. They're not going to last another 80 years. So you got to just let go sometimes and just be like, fine, this is the version for that audience, and let them enjoy it. And if that movie doesn't do well, then they'll probably go back to your version at some point. So, just, you gotta just, it's a waiting game. Like it's like comics. Like if you've read comics long enough, there are waves. You're like, all right, this decade I read very little of Batman and Superman because most of the runs haven't been good. But previous decades I've read a ton of those characters. So I'm just waiting for the next loop to come. I'm waiting for the next Pete Tomasi to come along for Superman so I can get back into reading Superman comics. I really hope down the line we end up with a Blade and Morbius fight. I hope Blade is a dark movie. I just saw the director of Doctor Strange 2 pieced out. And so I kind of hope that doesn't affect them making or trying to make dark movies. I mean, I don't have a lot of faith that Marvel can make a horror movie with Doctor Strange. But we'll see. Again, I'm trying to be hopeful, right? Spider-Man Cinematic Universe. Yes, so Spidey has his own pocket universe in the MCU, so that's a good question. I guess maybe we'll see. We saw an MCU version of a character, in the trailer. So we saw, if we want to get to the end of the trailer now that you guys waited so patiently, yes, at the end of the trailer, we are introduced to Michael Keaton, who plays the Vulture, and in Spider-Man Homecoming, and so he shows up at the end to like talk to Michael Morbius. So either he's got released out of jail, or I'm thinking just like Venom. Remember Venom in the trailer? They gave away that scene where he eats the guy in the bodega. He eats the guy in that little corner store, and that was like the last scene of the movie. And then so I'm thinking they did the same thing here. I'm thinking the scene where he runs into Vulture is probably the last scene in the movie, and we're just all going to see that in the theater and go, really, Sony, you did it again, you gave away your last scene. But that's the typical Sony, man. It's most likely Huntavia. It's most likely going to be in the end of the movie. Yeah, the main vampire is definitely another vampire. The main villain is another vampire character. It's Lucius Crown, played by Matt Smith. So yeah, I don't know what type of vampire he is. I don't know if his experiments, Michael Morbius' experience on himself, I don't know if that experiment also affects Lucius Crown, or if Lucius Crown is going to be an ancient vampire now that this is MCU related and Blade is somewhere out in the world hunting vampires. Technically, real vampires could exist, but Michael Morbius is not a real vampire. He's like a scientifically created one. And from the trailers, it looks like maybe he injects himself with something and then goes out and lets a bunch of bats eat him or bite him, and that's what transforms him. So maybe there's a mixture of supernatural with science. But in the comics, he was mostly a scientific creation. Chris says, I'm not really excited for Birds of Prey either, or Morbius, but others are, and that just means we'll get more characters. I mean, that's pretty much it. And if the movies don't do well, then we won't. So it's like, really, as a fan, the stakes are so low. Like it's like, I see people get so mad, and you guys know it, and some of you guys do it. I have done it before. I'm trying to like move past that part of my life where I get mad about something. It's like, who cares? It's a movie. And if I like it, great, I like it. If the masses don't like it, then I'm not going to get any more. So I better just, that's why I rushed to see Venom. I was like, if no one likes this movie, I'm not going to get another one for a long time. So I better just embrace this. And luckily that movie made $856 million at the box office. And that's why we're getting Morbius and Venom 2. And that's why Sony fought so hard to squeeze into the MCU, because they're like, we can make hits on our own. It made them look more profitable. I think Marvel was kind of like, these guys just make bad movies and we're not going to help them. And it's true. They don't make great movies a lot of times. But every once in a while they get lucky. And I think it's a perfect storm. They got lucky at the right time. And so Marvel was like, great. They made almost $1 billion with just Venom. So like, they're kind of like, well, now that to Disney's like, hey, that's money. That could be money in our pocket. We could share money if we exist in that universe too. Some executive probably was like, make it happen. Just make this deal happen. And other executives probably like, screw Sony. We don't need them. We'll do our own thing. And but yeah, somehow that deal got made again. So good for Venom. That's all I care about. Is I want all this stuff to help Venom out. That's all I care about. There were set photos of Jared Leto in prison clothes, so maybe when Morbius escaped, Vulture also escaped. I mean, that's possible too. Maybe he's in the scene in the movie more than a scene, but I feel like he's just one scene cameo. Anyway, for some reason I can't copy and paste this link to IGN in the comment section. I don't know why. Um, but the interview is pretty good. You have Jared Leto saying there's a line in the film where Morbius says that he's been dying his entire life, and now he feels more alive than ever. And I think that sums up the character. Leto explained, "Here's someone who's been afflicted with this horrendous disease and has had all kinds of challenges and has been in pursuit of this cure. And then all of a sudden, he has the power and this physical strength, which is all incredible, but there's a flip side to it as well. There's a dark side. So that battle between the light and dark is something that he fights throughout the film." So yeah, just a pretty decent interview here. They ask him a bunch of follow-up questions, or a couple of follow-up questions. They talk a little bit about this stuff in development and things like that, and how things led to this point. The official synopsis and everything is one of Marvel's most compelling and conflicted characters comes to the big screen as Oscar winner Jared Leto transforms into the enigmatic antihero Michael Morbius. Dangerously ill with a rare blood disorder and determined to save others suffering his same fate, Dr. Morbius attempts a desperate gamble. What at first appears to be a radical success soon reveals itself to be a remedy potentially worse than the disease. And that is a line in the trailer which I really liked that Jared Harris says, and it's like a dialogue between the two of them, where Michael Morbius asks him, like, isn't it okay to go too far in order if the results are positive? And then Jared Harris says something like, yeah, but if the remedy is worse than the disease, then we have failed. And I was like, wow, that's a good line. Like, that's a really good line. Oh, here we go. There's the IGN link. Boom. Finally, like 10 minutes later. So yeah, if you want to check out that link, it has some questions there. Joshua Yule over at IGN got that exclusive with Jared Leto, which is cool. So congratulations, Joshua. Joshua, I think he stayed in my hotel room one year. I think we were at Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con, and he was with some friends, and they like kicked him out of their hotel room or something because someone didn't like him, or I can't remember what the story was. And I didn't know him at all. I had just met him like that day. He was like a friend of a friend's, and he was like, "Hey, can I crash on your guys' like cot in your hotel room?" And I was like, "Dude, I'll sleep on the cot. You can have a bed, man." Like, I was like, "Yeah, sure." I was like, "Do you mind pitching in for the hotel room?" And he was like, "Oh no, we gave him the room for free. I think we just said, oh, you can stay here for a night or two for free." So yeah, I just was like, I saw a guy in a bad situation, and I was like, yeah, shoot, if I was kicked out of my hotel room, I would love someone to help me out. So I was like, dude, you can stay with me. And he was there when I went and told Jeff Johns that when I was recovering from an aneurysm in 2010, I was reading Brightest Day. And, as I was like getting back on my feet, and how that story was about second chances, and how it meant a lot to me as someone who was literally given a second chance. And Josh was there with me. And I think he teared up when I was talking to Jeff. But it was cool because it was my first time meeting him, and he was just a kid who I didn't know from Florida, and he stayed on our cot, or no, he stayed in the bed, and I slept on the cot. And because I was like, yeah, you're our guest, like you should have the bed. And I was like, I'll sleep on the cot, I don't care. I have a very small bed. I don't like big beds. So I was like, yeah, dude, it's totally cool. And now to see him getting interviews and working at IGN is pretty awesome. So good for him. Wherever you are out there, Josh, I hope you're doing well, but it seems like you are, so I'm glad. Sony can grab great actors too, like Hardy, Williams, and Smith. They attract more. Imagine a Meryl Streep, Madam Web. That would be dope. Meryl Streep, Madam Web. I don't know about that. I'm not a big fan of Meryl Streep, actually. And I'm not a big fan of. Everyone's allowed to have their opinions, but so here's mine on Meryl Streep. She gave a standing ovation to Roman Polanski, and I'm like, yeah, no, you're no longer. You may be a good actress, but you're no longer in my book of people I pay attention to now. So yeah, I don't know about Meryl Streep, but what's her name? I can't remember. She's another older lady with silver hair. Not Judi Dench, but she was in like Red. I think she was in that movie Red. I can't remember her name. Helen Mirren, is that it? Yeah, maybe it's Helen Mirren. She'd make a good Madam Web. I think it'd be great for Morbius to fight a real vampire. Also, I think later down the line, Morbius interacting with the lizard would be interesting, thanks to their similarities. Well, it's funny you mention that, because when you see my trailer reaction, which is halfway through rendering now, so it looks like it's going to take probably another hour to render. Holy cow, it's taking forever. But I'm rendering it out in high def, so it's taking a little bit more. But you'll see, I talk about Amazing Spider-Man 101 and 102, and Morbius's first appearance he fights Spider-Man with the 6 arms, and the Lizard is also in the storyline. So it's actually there is some Lizard fighting there. So yeah, hopefully they do the Lizard, make him part of the Sinister Six, and the two of them can have conversations about mutations and stuff. Um, Eddie's Mullet says, I like the quote from Leto, the best heroes are the flawed ones. Yeah, for sure. The best heroes are the flawed ones, and the most interesting villains are villains who don't think they're the villains. I think Hector Elizondo, when he was playing Bane in Flight of the Batwoman or something, it was like an animated movie that came out in the early 2000s, set in the Bruce Timm universe. And I think he played the voice of Bane. And in the interviews of that, he changed my perspective on villains forever. Because in that interview, he said, I like playing bad guys because bad guys don't think they're the bad guys. And when I heard that, as a young writer at that time, trying to crack a bunch of different stories that I was working on, I always had trouble with villains. And when I heard him say that, I was like, that's perfect. Bad guys don't see themselves as the bad guys. I mean, sure, every once in a while you get one who's like, yeah, I'm a monster, I'm a bad guy. But, I don't know. I feel like they probably don't really feel that way. Most bad guys don't see themselves as the villain. And when I heard him say that, it just helped me write so many more villains much better, um, than what I used to approach them as. So yeah, so that's cool. I think it's cool how Sony keeps picking monster-like heroes and makes movies on. It's just intriguing for some reason. Yeah, I wish they did a little bit more interesting things with them. Like when I heard Ruben Fleischer say that Venom was going to be like the Fly, and it's nothing like the Fly, but I'm like, yeah, that would have been great. Or American Werewolf in London, like any one of those things they could have really played that up. Um, but at least they're picking monsters. Yeah, I agree. This is something that separates them from the MCU. They're kind of doing the darker monster side, because so far we haven't really seen that in the MCU. Everyone's like these good-looking ripped people, or they're like CGI talking trees and raccoons or whatever. But there's like no real monsters that are on the good guy side. And so seeing Morbius and Venom now is like it's so awesome. Yeah, I hope so too. Yeah, Helen Mirren. Oh wow, didn't know about that streep. Yikes. I mean, what it's just my opinion on her, but yeah, she did a standing ovation for Roman Polanski, and I'm just like, I don't care how good your movies are, what he does or what he did is not okay, and it does not justify the movies you make. That's where like the creepiness of Hollywood. Like I've worked in movies, I've seen people act creepy, and I've spoken out, and I've gotten fired from jobs from it, or just not rehired. Oh, aren't you a freelancer? Okay, yeah, we'll call you on the next job, and then they don't because I saw some creepy old producer guy like hitting on this young PA girl, and he was just always around her, and it was so freaking weird, and you can tell she was uncomfortable about it, at least at first, and then I don't know what happened afterwards, but it's like, yeah, it's a weird business, and a lot of people in that business are totally okay with the creepy stuff that goes on until it gets outed, and then they get pissed off about it, and it's like, if you were really that mad, you would have spoke up, but you didn't because you wanted to keep your job. And I know that's how most people think. They keep their head down, just like, whatever, I got to do my job, I got to keep my job. But then don't come out and say you're some kind of activist that speaks out against stuff when you turned a blind eye to it for so long. I know people can grow and change, but it's like a little it's a pet peeve of mine when I see some of these people act the way they do. I'm just like, so yeah, the Meryl Streep thing, yeah, not a big fan. That's cool. I need to track down that issue. Yeah, picking us up. This was reprinted for $1. Amazing Spider-Man 101. They did not reprint 102, but if you can get them on Comixology, even issues 101 and 102 of Amazing Spider-Man by Roy Thomas and Gil Kane. Stan Lee was the editor on the book at this time, so he wasn't the writer, but Roy Thomas was, and it's a two-part story that introduces Morbius for the first time. He's on a boat. He kills a bunch of crew members on this ship, just like in the trailer that we saw. I mean, so there's a lot of similarities. He's a Nobel Prize winner, so it's cool. I was like, wow, they really pulled from the comics, to make this character alive on screen. So that's pretty awesome. Just realized Spidey has so many of mad science rogues, Lizard, Morbius. That's the thing about Spider-Man. He's kind of science fiction a little bit. He's a scientist himself, and yeah, most of his villains are either common criminals with enhanced abilities, due to suits or something, or they're scientists who just want more money to undo the mistake they made. Like Lizard just wants to go back to being human. Him wanting to turn everyone into lizards in the Amazing Spider-Man, I was like, what a dumb plot. I'm sure that's from a comic book, but it's like there are bad comic books. Like just when you go, oh, but that's from the comics, that doesn't give it a pass. Like there are so many bad comic books out there. So when someone goes, yeah, but that was in the comics, dude, I'm like, so what? It sucked in the comics too. Um, it's like when people are like, Superman killed Zod in the comics, and I'm like, yeah, and that sucked. That issue sucked. It was Superman number 22, and he killed Zod and Fiora and the other one, whatever is Non or whatever, not Non, but you know, some other one. And I'm just like, yeah, it was stupid. Like, and so I don't like it. Like, and not just because it's a killing thing. It's just because it was like it was a bad story. Um, so Doc Ock too. Yeah, Doc Ock for sure. What's up, Lonely? How's it going? Man Wolf would be cool, I guess, but Jameson is probably dead since what happened to him and Venom. Yeah, well, we don't know if he died because they said, "Oh, look, it's Jameson over here." So it sounded like he could still be alive. Maybe he's was taken away by the government and they're keeping him alive or something. You never know. Roast him, Secret Gervais. No way. No, 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 no. I don't know if I don't know if I'm on the level of Ricky. But that was kind of funny. I did watch his speech. They don't speak up because it affects them. Why should they care? That's how it is. I mean, that's how a lot of people are, and it sucks because those people who don't speak up are usually the ones who online are very loud and say like, oh, you know, this is wrong and this is wrong, and it's like that's great that you feel that way, but in the moment you have to say something. Um, Otherwise, you're just kind of a hypocrite. So like, it's great you're speaking about this now, but you got to do it when you see it happen too. So I think a lot of these people are vocal online because of how much they've turned their blind eye, and they like, oh, I have more courage online speaking out about it than I did when I saw it happening, and I think they do it out of guilt or regret. So it's great that they're trying to change, but it's like at the same time, it's like I don't know all of them personally, so I don't know what their life experiences are, but it does like sometimes there's just some instances where I'm just like, whatever. I don't really care. Um, don't really care to like acknowledge that person or like them or like their work anymore. Um, so yeah, so the IGN article, that was the main thing I want to talk about here because Spider-Man 101 and 102 we go over in our trailer reaction, which will be up in like an hour or so, probably up around noon, I'm thinking. So like a little bit over an hour. Um, will Tobey Maguire return as Spider-Man? I don't know. Maybe as a voice in Spider-Verse 2. I don't know. Why is Ricky roasting them Hollywood about the exact thing he was refreshing? No, yeah, which is why. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's exactly it. I mean, I think you know, as a liberal person, I think there is a line, and I see it get crossed all the time, and so it's like, you know, it doesn't. I'm not a blanket statement guy. I don't think it affects everyone. You know, I'm not going to say all of Hollywood is garbage or whatever, but a lot of them come across very hypocritical, and yeah, I guess some people were really elated to see Ricky Gervais say what they were thinking. Me, I was just kind of like, I say that to myself every day. So Ricky Gervais's words weren't like profound in any way, but I was like, still, I was like, oh, good for him for doing it, I guess. I mean, if anyone else can go up there and speak their opinions on a mic, then he should be able to. Um, that's how free speech works. Those reprints are great. They did a few for the Fantastic Four a year or so ago before the relaunch. Yeah, I like the dollar reprints, man. Now they're doing the facsimile versions, which are like $3.99, and they reprint all the original ads and stuff in it. I'm like, that's it's nice to get some of those issues, but I do not care about the ads and all that stuff. Like, just reprint them as dollar books. Marvel and DC, please. Like, the facsimile ones, that's fine, but just make them $1 or $2. Um, yeah. Well, but I don't know about Tobey Maguire returning. Maybe a Spider Verse voice. I don't know. I don't think so, since this seems to be the MCU. I mean, yeah, exactly. Also, just saw the trailer, and I honestly both like it and get people going on about it. Must see the MCU waters. See, I don't know if it messes with the MCU waters. We don't know. I mean, we're not going to know until we see the movie, right? But I mean, come on. Sometimes from Marvel movie to Marvel movie, there's inconsistencies. So it's like MCU has already muddied some of its waters at times, and not every MCU movie is as great as people think they are. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen too many complaints yet. I just saw a couple posts, but since the trailer came out, I've been working. Like, I filmed my reaction and then edited it, and then it's rendering now, and then I had to prep for this live episode. So it's been a busy morning for me. So I only saw a couple reactions to it, and they all seem positive so far. But I'm sure there's a ton of negativity out there, for sure. The Easter egg, yeah, the Spider-Man Easter egg, yeah. I mean, we talked about that earlier, Rohit. I don't know if you left the room or not. But we already addressed that. We addressed that it could just be a filler, you know. I don't want to go over all that again. We already went over that. You have to go back and watch the earlier part of the episode. Um, I think Jameson was alive when they took him in the ambulance, and he could have survived the crash. I hope we get Moon Pupper movie. What's a Moon Pupper? uh, yeah, he could have survived the crash though. I don't know what Moon Pupper is. Could just be wall art, as normal people don't really have a good look on Spidey. See, that's what I was thinking of. Okay, good. He summed it up. Swordsman, you're elegant with your words, man. Yeah, it could just be wall art that a rendition of Spider-Man. Because remember, in this universe, Spider-Man disappeared for 5 years. So, and he just got the suit right before he disappeared from Tony Stark. So who has pictures of him really? Peter Parker doesn't take photos. He's not a photographer in this new world. So yeah, it could, so maybe it's just a rendition of him. I think it's just filler. And now that they have the rights to use MCU Spider-Man, they might, and now they're hearing this feedback, they might change that shot for the final movie. I'm thinking. I don't think they have to, but I think they might. Yeah, I don't think it'll be muddy. It just looks like they can swap characters between universes, not affect each other's overall story. I think that's how it is. It's like, all right, you want to use Vulture? Fine. You can use Vulture. Because we're not doing anything with them in the MCU. We don't have any plans for them. So, okay, you can use them, and that'll keep the character around. That'll keep Michael Keaton in our universe. And then when we need to do Sinister Six, that can be a mashup Sony Marvel production or something, and that's what I think it's going to be. I think they only got Spider-Man for like one more or two more Marvel movies. So he's going to be probably in the next Spider-Man and then maybe the next Avengers movie or team movie, whatever they decide to build. I think they shouldn't do another Avengers movie right now. They should let that brand rest for a minute. I think what they should do is do Sinister Six, and that should be the shared Sony Marvel movie. And then you can have Spider-Man through like the first 2/3 of the movie is against the Sinister Six, and he's losing, and he can't win. He can't get a hands up. And then maybe through that movie he starts making friends, and they start forming a new Avengers team. And then that way from there you can go 2 years later, you can have a bunch of other phase 4 or 5 movies, and then at the end of that you can do your Avengers movie again, and you're like, oh wow, this is some of the members that fought the Sinister Six all those years ago, and now they're older and they have new members or whatever. I don't know, there's so much you can do. Moon Pupper, oh, werewolf. I got you. You talk about John Jameson. Gotcha. Moon Pupper, that's a good name for him. Trailer looks better than the first Venom trailer. That was the thing. That's what I'm saying, is like the first Venom trailer, I think Sony listened to that feedback. They were like, okay, we basically gave nothing away. We made an Eddie Brock trailer and people did not like that. So their second Venom trailer was better because of that. This one, it seemed like they were right out of the gate like, no, we're going to do, because when we were leading up to the end of the trailer, I'm like, come on, you got to show what he looks like. I know we have that leaked image, but I was still wondering if that was real or not. So I was like, is it going to be him? Is he going to actually be a vampire? When they showed it, I was like, okay, that's good. So it worked. It worked for the most part. Maybe Venom and Spidey versus Sinister Six. Yeah, we got to get that for sure. Yes, Brandon. Brandon says Swordsman. Thank you guys. I gotta go. It's an hour, and I've been getting text messages from work. So if you've been hearing my phone buzzing or the audio buzzing, it's because of that. I better check out what that is, because it seemed kind of important. They were like freaking out about stuff. So let me go check out what that is, and I'll get back to you guys soon. I will have my Venom vlog, Morbius trailer reaction. That'll post definitely before I go to work. It should post in the next hour, like around noon. So keep an eye out for that if you're subscribed to this channel. And everyone else, thanks for the 14 people being here, the 12 thumbs up. I appreciate that very, very much. And we will do another live episode next week. But until then, I got to catch up on other things. I got to catch up my Superman podcast, and I got to get all that stuff situated. But you will get Venom vlogs. We're going to be back to like 3 to 4 episodes a week from now on. And now that we've done the Morbius trailer, my next Venom vlog I'm going to record probably tomorrow night or Wednesday morning. And it'll go up on Thursday, and that's going to be the first time, Flash Thompson becomes Agent Venom. So we're going to talk about, I think it's issue 654.1, somewhere around there, for Amazing Spider-Man. So we got a lot of fun stuff coming up. This season is going to have Morbius stuff in it. It's going to have Venom 2 stuff. We're going to have, Agent Venom stuff, Maximum Venom stuff. There's so much to go through, and we got 150 episodes to do it in. So let's hopefully we can cram it all in. Everyone's gonna be like, 150 episodes, that's easy. No, it's not. As I learned from last season, when I had to do so much in season 3 of the show, I was like, no way. Like, luckily there was barely any movie news last season. That was the only reason we were able to get through so many comics. But now we got movie news and cartoon news and Morbius news and Venom 2 news and comic books, it's going to be a rough road, but we're going to endure it together. So thank you guys. Bruce, thanks for being here. Swordsman, Venom Vault, Rohit, everyone who popped in, Swordsman, Eddie's Mullet. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you all for the questions, Tavia, and we will see you guys very, very soon. Thanks so much. Peace.